All in Sports Network. We love sports.
This is your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All In Horns, presented to you by Rogue Sports Network. I'm Michael Myers, that's Jake Jimerson, and this is All In Horns. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween out there, everybody. October 31st here on your daily fix. Jake, we are getting ready for take this off. Goodness, that's ridiculous. It's so hard to speak in, and it's just, dude, it smells like rubber, and it's like I'm wearing a giant condom on my head. It's horrible. I hate that smell. So, we're gonna go ahead and just continue the show regularly. Happy Halloween, everybody. Be safe out there today. I know there's a lot of kids walking around, so again, just kind of be wary of your surroundings today. Don't go crazy and get stupid drunk because you're an adult, and that's the only way you can have fun on Halloween. So, all right. Texas taking on Vanderbilt. We're going to have an immediate reaction episode following the game on Saturday, as we always do. We are going to have a back-to-back immediate reactions, Jake. Tuesday night, men's basketball kicks their season off against the Duke Blue Devils, and we are going to do an immediate reaction following the men's basketball game on Tuesday as well.
Yeah, it works out well too with the bye week for Texas football. Kind of a perfect time to have the Longhorn men's team start their season and kind of just get an idea. You know, I don't think either one of us are going to judge Sean Miller too much off that one game. In fact, Duke is going to be really good this year. They have Boozer's, I think it's his son, and he's like supposed to be this generational recruit. I think he's gone crazy in their scrimmages.
Yeah, well, it's Duke. They have a generational recruit like every other year.
Yeah, and so it's going to be a tough game for Texas to win when they have a whole new system starting. It'll be their first game. I think
we got an injury update on a couple of guys.
That have been
Volkus,
out. The big man, he had set out in their scrimmages. I know they actually beat SMU in a scrimmage, and SMU is supposed to be really good this year. And I know SMU looked good in their other scrimmages, but then they lost by quite a bit to, I think, TCU in a scrimmage, but they didn't have any of their big men playing in that game. So they were playing with basically all guards.
Mm-hmm.
But I think both their guys are supposed to be back. It was Volkus and I'm blanking on who.
Matthias Martinez. I can't say his name, but it's starts with an M.
I thought of it. Volkus was the one I said. The big man. We'll get more familiar with
the
names.
No. Yeah. Again, we'll know how to say the names, but it's Volkus, and then the other guys like Matthias or Maintenance.
Yeah, I can't. Names we're not good with yet, but
we'll figure it out. It's a work in progress. We're workshopping it.
But they'll be back for this game. I think Texas is 7.5-point dogs right now in that game.
That's a touchdown score, baby.
Yeah. I'll put it this way: if they cover that game, I'll be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be all in.
I don't know what your initial. I guess we could do a quick prediction on it. I feel like this is just one of those games that Duke never loses early in a season, especially. Yep. It's going to be practically a home game for them. Texas in a new system and everything. I can already feel the overreaction coming from the fan base and from social media. I feel like this is a game where it's maybe not all that close, or it's like a 10 to 15 point game just the whole time, and Texas can never like crack into single digits or make a big run. I feel like it's going to be that type of game, but we'll see Texas play with more pace. We'll see some things that we like, but I feel like defensively they're really going to struggle because this is just such a different system than what Terry did. And it's going to take them a little bit of time to kind of gel and mold together. Sean Miller actually kind of hinted at it. He basically had said something about like waking up and being like, why are we playing Duke game one? It's like,
that's also just giving your opponent respect. I mean, the Duke Blue Devils they're one of the more branded names in college basketball. And
the brand. I mean, KU and Duke are the blue bloods that are on a different level when it comes to college basketball from a brand perspective.
I would even put UNC kind of on a small, like half tier below them, and so, I'm with you, Jake. I think, I think if Texas comes out and we just see a system that is being ran offensively, that is possibly creating open shots, guys are knocking down some open shots. I think Texas is going to really have to hit a lot of difficult shots. They're going to have to make some pretty crazy things, and I think they're going to have to dictate place of play. They're going to have to continue to run up and down the court, and I know that's Sean Miller's MO, is to kind of keep up tempo. But it's not like Duke can't play that style. It's not like Duke isn't capable. I don't think Texas is going to be able to just run them out of the gym. I don't think that that's a feasible game plan that's going to work and have success with it. I think at the end of the day, if Texas is going to have success, they're just going to have to hit shots. And I know that sounds super simple, but at the end of the day, you're going to be contested. You're going to have to hit some difficult shots. You're going to have to get into the lane and draw some contact, and you're going to have to convert some pretty difficult looks, I think, for Texas to have sustained success in this game. Defensively, I'm not quite sure what they do. I think Duke is just going to have their way with them. I mean, Texas has some size, but again, guys are also coming back from injury. How much do you even want to play those guys? If they're coming back from injury and you know this game doesn't dictate your season, but losing those guys long term could dictate your season, how much are you actually going to play the 7-footers? So that's a whole other thing, and so I think Sean Miller kind of knows going into this what he wants to do, what he wants his team to look like, and what to come out of. And I think, again, it's showing us the potential of the offensive system is working. It's creating looks, and we just need, a little bit of time to gel as a team. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, and Texas may hit shots and just simply lose the game. I think they're going to be a pretty good offensive team this year.
Yeah.
I think the defensive side is what's going to take some time to kind of come together and figure out how to play with pace while also not just allowing the opposing offense to do what they want.
And there's the communication side of it,
and Duke just has a talent advantage too, by the way. This is, Texas is going to be able to compete or be better than most teams this year as far as talent level. Duke is just not one of those. Duke has a decided talent advantage in this game.
So listen to our immediate reaction following the game, see how we feel about it, see if you agree with us. Please watch the game on Tuesday. It's Duke, Texas. You're not going to see this matchup very often, especially to open the season off. I'm hoping they look better than what they looked in a loss to Ohio State a season ago. That's at the end of the day. I just want them to look better than the Rodney Terry teams. End of story. Win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, that won't be too hard considering Ohio State wasn't even a good team and Texas looked bad. And we knew Ohio State wasn't a good team. Texas was a large favorite in that game, and it was just like, wow, they have one player, and it's a true freshman. He's awesome to watch, but this team is not good.
You and I were pretty frustrated. We were frustrated after that game. We were like, hey, Trey Johnson's fun, and the team wasn't very fun to watch. And that was literally the tune all year long. It never changed.
Yeah. Yeah, that first game was the theme the entire season.
Yep.
And so hopefully, because Texas could lose this game by 15, 20 points, and I'd be feeling better than I did after that Ohio State game. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, just depends on how how we're looking and making sure that I just want to see an actual system ran offensively, some sort of play and just design and like getting guys
Ball
open. Movement
passes.
Off the ball. Yeah, passes. Just I just need to see something, and I'll be like, yeah, hey, we're feeling a little bit better here than we were this time last year.
Attacking the lane, swinging the ball around, screens, just simple stuff. Mainly just ball movement. I just want to see ball movement. I don't want to see the point guard bring it up, sit in the half court for 20 seconds of the shot clock, and then drive the lane, one pass shoot or something like that. Like, I just want to see ball movement. Yeah. It's very simple.
It's very easy to impress Texas Longhorns.
If I see 3 passes on a possession early on, I'm probably going to be pretty excited.
We're going to the Final Four, baby. It's happening.
The bar is low.
It's very low going into this. So, which should make Sean Miller's job much easier in terms of at least pleasing the fans. But that's never an easy thing to do at Texas, no matter how successful you are. All right, Jake. Let's talk football. Texas taking on Vanderbilt this week. Texas, last time I checked, still favored in terms of at least the odds in Vegas to win this game. Would you consider it an upset if Texas won this game? I know I sure would.
Yes. Yes, just yes. I mean, to me, it's a pretty simple answer as far as which
Texas
team.
3.5-point favorites over Vanderbilt for whatever ungodly reason. In terms of ESPN analytics, the matchup predictor, Texas has a 70.4% chance of beating Vanderbilt. That ESPN analytic projector doesn't watch football. Just letting everybody know. Doesn't watch the games. It's just a computer. That's a top talent compository ranking system and all the things. And so they put in all types of, in terms of betting lines and favorites and things like that into that. So don't take that into account at all. Passing yards. Arch Manning actually has the advantage over Diego Pavia. Now, in terms of pass completion percentage, Pavia has the advantage there. Same amount of touchdowns thrown. One more interception for Arch Manning than Diego Pavia. Rushing yards. Pavia is the leading rusher for Vanderbilt with 458 yards on 85 carries. He's got 5 touchdowns, so he's got 20 total touchdowns on the season, does Diego Pavia. This offense runs through Pavia. If you can shut him down and make life difficult for him in the pocket, scrambling around, putting spies on him, making sure you have him somewhat contained, you can contain this offense at least a little bit. We've seen it throughout the season. They've put up low scoring numbers multiple times this season. And so, including last week against Missouri. So there's definitely film out there of successful defenses against Diego Pavia in this Vanderbilt offense.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game where I really hope the defense is being challenged internally to go out and win this football game. Because you're going to have either Arch playing with, not a full week of practice and maybe not 100%, or you're going to have, Caldwell making his first start as a Longhorn. So the defense needs to go out and win this football game. Vanderbilt's been a kind of a better defensive team than offensive team when it comes to these matchups against better teams.
Yep. You know what they kind of remind me of? Not like a worse talent version, but kind of what the perspective of what Texas was supposed to be last year offensively. You got the star quarterback, you got the weapons around him, but yet for whatever reason, not really putting up the production offensively that maybe people expected them going into the season. And then by the midseason, end of season, they're just a straight defensive team. They're a defensive dominant team, and that's kind of what Vanderbilt's been this year.
Yeah, I mean, the LSU game was probably one of their better offensive performances, but as we're starting to see, that LSU team is just not good.
It's meaning less and less as the season goes on.
Yeah, they're not a good team. So you look at their schedule; they've essentially played 2 really good teams, and that's Missouri and Alabama, and they lost 30-14 to Alabama. They won 17-10 against Missouri. Add that up and that's 15.5 points a game. So, they've been a defensive led team in games where they've played their better competition. And so I really, and to me, the Texas defense should be coming out with a chip on their shoulder. They should be kind of embarrassed after last week. Cause it didn't just have to do with them playing a lot of plays. That they weren't getting off the field consistently early, and Texas offense would score and the Mississippi State would score right back. And it happened again in the fourth quarter where Texas offense scored. Then the defense gave up a long touchdown pass. They got torched through the air, and this passing defense does not rank near as well as it did as last year. And on the run game, they haven't given up explosives. I do think teams have been able to run it on them with more success than last year, and especially outside of the tackles. And Vanderbilt is going to attack that, and they're going to use the RPO game. And this defense is going to have to make stops, and they're going to need to get some turnovers. And if they don't do that, I don't think Texas has a chance in this game, because I don't think Texas's offense is just going to magically go up and down the field against a very good Vanderbilt defense.
Especially if we got Matthew Caldwell. And now, Jake, let's go ahead and take a look at the injury report. Speaking of Matthew Caldwell, Arch Manning was listed officially as questionable. Also, Michael Taft questionable, but we kind of expected he will probably be out this week, get the bye week to fully recover, be ready to go by Georgia. But again, having the questionable tag and not doubtful or out completely for Michael Taft, really good news.
From what I've kind of read and heard, I think Taft's going to play and Manning's not. I think Taff is actually I think he's playing.
Yeah, that'd be huge. That'd be
I would
big
almost
news.
be surprised if he wasn't playing, to be honest. There was an injury report that came out on Thursday after this one, and it did move Lance Jackson and Cole Hudson to probable. So it
Oh.
sounds like Texas is getting their starting center back, and Lance Jackson should be good to go as well. Lance Jackson, by the way, has been coming along quickly.
Can we talk about the lack of snaps that Lance Jackson has had, and yet the amount of production that he has given the Longhorns on those limited snaps?
Yeah, I mean he has been very, and I think that's good. I think keeping his snaps limited is good. It just allows him to go out there and play with his hair on fire for the 10 to 15 snaps he's playing.
And
so
all,
I actually
all
really
his assignment is get your ass to the quarterback. That's his assignment. And
yeah,
that's what
they're
he's been
putting
doing.
him out there in specific down and situations, which I
Yep.
think is a smart, because they tried using him more against Florida early, and it worked out poorly. Because you don't want him to think right now. You just want him to go. And that's why you're seeing Colin Simmons just they're starting to limit the bench like we wanted them to. And I think that's going to continue this week, because edge discipline is one of the keys to the defense having a good game. Discipline just in general for this defense. They have to trust their keys and their reads in this game. They have to trust their gap discipline. Discipline is the number one word. I've heard a lot of people say aggressiveness because they think about that fourth quarter of the Mississippi State game. Aggressiveness to a point, but you can't be over aggressive against this Vanderbilt offense, or they will beat you for an 80-yard touchdown.
You know what I would like to see in this game, Jake? I'd like to see, and I don't know if we see it or not. This is kind of like fan fantasy. Putting Derek Williams out there and have him spy Pavia, just solely that's his lone job responsibility. Him or Jonah Williams, and just you spy Pavia. You get a little bit of help from Anthony Hill from time to time as well, and you let the other two safeties and Michael Taff and Jelani McDonald, play maybe not deep safety, but you play traditional safety roles with those two guys, and you bring in a little bit of extra speed, a little bit of athleticism, just to simply stay on Pavia wherever he goes.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea, but at the same time, I think Texas is going to do what they did last year. They're going to switch the spy up almost every play.
Well,
it'll be Hill one play, it'll be LaFau one play, it'll be Williams one play, it'll be Colin Simmons one play. They're going to switch it up and try to confuse him as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like in certain situations, I'm not saying like every single down, but have Williams involved, have Jonah, both Williams involved. But yeah, have them involved, have Anthony Hill involved, Leona LaFau involved. Like have these guys, but
Taff could be really good in that this week. If he's playing with a club and he's not a threat to get a pick, have him just running down Pavia trying to club the ball out or something. I mean, because if he plays, I imagine he's going to have a club on. Which, by the way, as we are recording this, I just read from an insider that they were putting Arch Manning at about a 70% chance to play.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So
that's big breaking news.
Sources saying that's potentially even low. That Arch just does not want to miss this game, and I guess he's been progressing well. Arch Manning, by the way,
tough as nails, toughest quarterback we've had play for the Longhorns
since Ellinger. I mean, he has that Ellinger level competitiveness and fight. He just has more arm talent than Ellinger. Obviously, he hasn't been as good as Ellinger yet, but Ellinger took a little time to get going. Obviously, he started earlier in his career,
and then Tom Herman plateaued him completely.
Yeah, he just plateaued his junior year on. But yeah, Arch reminds me in many ways of Ellinger. I just think he has obviously a much, much higher ceiling. And I think we'll see him hit that ceiling, but he reminds me of Ellinger in many ways. And it's not just the running and the dual threat ability, it's the heart and the fight and the competitiveness that he has and the leadership.
Well, let's go ahead and let's talk about this offense, and as though Arch Manning is going to be playing in this game. If say that 70% turns 75, 80%, Arch goes out there, he's starting this game, how can he repeat his performance from a week ago?
I mean, it'd help a hell of a lot if he could just get some protection. I hate to keep saying it, but man, I've seen some Texas writers start to write about this, and they're like, we sit there and we talk about wide receiver this, running back that. He's like, a lot of these problems wouldn't look like problems if the lineman group was just playing okay. Like, they're like, I think people would be really happy with the wide receivers if Arch just had time to throw. I think everyone would be a lot maybe not fully happy with Arch because the expectations were so unreasonable, but would be even more pleased with how Arch is playing. There wouldn't be any doubters out there from the Texas fan base if he just had time to throw. Like,
well,
it really is that simple.
Wingo has to catch the ball. Wingo has to catch.
Wingo's a separate story. He has to make contested catches. He's so good when he gets the ball in his hand. He's one of the most explosive yak wide receivers I've seen at Texas. Every time he actually brings the ball in, I feel like he can score.
Yeah.
The problem is bringing the ball in.
No,
his drop rate is pretty close to what Xavier Worthy was the year he had the broken hand. It's not as high because Xavier Worthy had a ton of drops that year. He had a broken hand. Right. Unless Ryan Wingo has a broken hand. And the thing is too with Wingo is the drop. I feel like the drop percentage of what counts for a drop, he's held to a higher standard in fans' minds as he should be. There's probably some drops that are drops to us that are not counted in that percentage as well because they're contested tough catches, but a catch that you would expect him to make when he's supposed to be a first round in the NFL type of talent wide receiver.
Yeah, well, it just seems like the only guy making contested catches at all for Texas is Parker Livingstone.
Mosley and
Mosley's come on lately.
Mosley and DeAndre Moore has I think he has a 0% drop rate this year.
Yeah, but he hasn't really had many contested catches.
But he's had a few.
When he throws to him when he's wide open. So that's it. It doesn't feel like there's been a lot of difficult plays made from wide receivers. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. As a whole season, I can't go back and be like, that wide receiver really bailed out Arch Manning, and if he did, it was probably Parker Livingstone or Jack Injuries against Ohio State because that was the only game he really showed up for.
Yeah, we haven't seen Andres as involved as
at all.
Yeah, anyone would have thought. And I don't know if that is because of the offensive line, because it depends on when your tight end isn't in the progression, and it's hard to get past your first progression with how bad the pass pro has been. But if the pass protection's good, I think Texas will go out and have a great day throwing the football. That's how they need to beat this Vanderbilt team. Vanderbilt's run defense is really good. Their pass defense is very average to below average. So for me, the recipe's pretty simple. Texas needs to win this game through the air, which means this offensive line has got to hold up in pass pro. They just got to be time to throw, because when Arch has had time to throw, he's done great. And then when he gets in a little bit of a rhythm, he gets even better at avoiding the pressures and then still keeping his eyes downfield and making a great throw.
When he plays calm, and you can kind of see it in his feet, Peyton kind of played like that. When Peyton got under duress, when he didn't have time in the pocket and he felt like he was pressured, he'd get those happy feet and he'd start rushing things. And it was just kind of one
Eli
of those
too.
And Eli, and so when Arch kind of gets out of that frantic mindset of the timer in his head is going off way sooner than it needs to because the offensive line is failing him, and he can play kind of more under control. Damn, it is really impressive football that we're watching from him, especially going back last week to Mississippi State. Kentucky, it was never comfortable. It never felt good, but Oklahoma, it did. There were glimpses there. Second half of the Florida game, we saw some glimpses there, especially most of the fourth quarter it was there. But it's just taking too long for him to settle in. I'd like to, from the opening possession, just go down the field, look comfortable, look confident, have some time in the pocket. That, again, that comes from the offensive line, deliver some strikes, but not rush it to the point to where you don't need to be rushing your progressions because you have time. You're just acting and playing as though you don't have time.
Yeah. And what would help that is just giving him a little freaking time to start the game. I'm not trying to excuse Arch completely or anything, but if they give him time, I think they'll succeed. And so it's just play average. That's all
Yeah.
I'm asking. I just
All right,
want
Jake.
the offensive line to play average.
Prediction time. Let's go. Let's hear a prediction. It can be score. Well, it's going to be score, but you can throw out any prediction you'd like.
Yeah, I just have too hard of a time picking Texas to win this game. I think they've been living on the edge the last couple of weeks, obviously. I think this is finally what breaks it. I don't have complete trust in the defense. I didn't have complete trust going into the defense last week. And I said, this is the game for me that'll decide whether I can truly trust this defense. Well, I don't trust them after that game. I trust them less, for sure. And so I don't trust them going into this game. And why would I trust this offensive line to all of a sudden play better than they have at any point this year outside the second half against OU?
No, I agree. Yeah, no,
I don't think this game will be particularly close. I'm going to say 31-17 Vanderbilt. Actually, 34-17 Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Jake, I'm with you. I think this is going to be that final wave that kind of breaks the levee. The Texas has kind of been hanging on by a thread. They've been hanging on against not great football teams. Is there an avenue? Is there a game? Is there a world that we live in that Texas wins this game? Absolutely.
There's a world they blow them out. I mean, Texas is very capable. I'm just judging based off what I've seen and not expecting it to magically, unicorns to jump out in the field and everything to look beautiful.
Well, and it's not like Arch has had a full, healthy week of prep, even if he does play, it's still going to be, limited in terms of the film and the game playing that he's watched and this, that, and the other. And so, I do, think if he can play, he should play. I do think that. But yeah, I'm with you, Jake. I've got Vanderbilt to win this game outright. I think Vandy wins this game. I'm gonna say 20. I'm gonna say 28 to I don't know, 14 or 17. So I'll say 28-17. I'll just go with that. And that's if Stone can, or not Stone. Shipley can make a kick, make a 29-yarder. That'd be nice. But no, he's been good for the majority of the season. Can't blame him for one kick, but that would have prevented us from going into overtime. But yeah, so that's kind of where I've got that one, Jake. All right, let's go ahead and hear from our folks at Underdog, and then we will give our all-in horns entry of the week after this word. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code HORNS to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code HORNS. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks. Win money. Must be 18 and up. 19 and up in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 and up, and in Colorado for some games. 21 and up in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And must be present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. All right, Jake, here is our all-in horns entry this week. Last week we went a little bit more risky. It nearly paid off. We were a Josh Allen touchdown pass away from hitting on that entry. This week, a little bit more conservative, very touchdown heavy.
Yeah, we're kind of trying to get a 3-footer here, if you will, in golf terms, because obviously last week was heartbreaking. So I tried to keep it as safe as possible. Granted, again, the one I thought was safest last week is the one that missed. I'm totally over it.
We can't get over it. It's one of those that will haunt us for years.
I'm gonna write a whole Taylor Swift album about it.
Yeah.
I like Malachi Toney to go higher than half a receiving, rushing touchdown. That Malachi Toney's one I feel like we've leaned on a little bit at times this year, and he's been pretty consistent. And then I think leaning against USC's defense is always a good idea. So I like Emmett Johnson to go higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Because USC does not have a good defense. And so, yeah, I think Emmett Johnson is a pretty that's the one I feel best about. So that's the one that will probably miss.
Yeah, well, the one I feel best about in terms of my entries is the NFL leading touchdown rusher is Jonathan Taylor. And I feel like if he can at least get a rushing or receiving touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense of all defenses, surely that will happen. I feel very confident about that. And then Michael Parsons playing Carolina this week. Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, Joe Milton, you name it. I don't care who's the quarterback at the Carolina Panthers. Michael Parsons sack this week. That might be the one that breaks the camel's back. I don't know. It's been your touchdowns that we've been missing on. My picks have been perfect since doing this. Not to throw that at your face, but Michael Parsons half sack. All he needs is one, baby.
There it is. There it is. It's been too long. I knew you were going to throw me under the bus at some point.
At some point in time, and yeah, so we're a team. This is a team effort, Jake. It's a team effort. We're gonna ride as a team.
It just really pisses me off. It was the Josh Allen. You know, if it's the Jackson Dart not getting a rushing touchdown, I'd be like, hand up. I took a big risk there. Or if it was your James Cook not hitting, it'd be like, hey, took a risk there.
Yeah.
Josh Allen repeatedly throwing it to wide receivers going down at the 3-yard line the whole game. Really
for Josh Allen to then run it in for a touchdown. That's what chat my ass more than anything.
And for them to score 40 points. 40 points.
With
and
one
if you would have told me Buffalo was going to get 40 points for the game, I would have placed a large just single wager on whatever sports app to just not even parlay, just one bet. Josh Allen, throw the savings, throw the mortgage payment on it over 1.5 throwing touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Pain.
All right, Jake. We've given our prediction for the Texas game. We've given our all-in horns underdog entry. Let's go ahead and look at some games this week. It is week 10. Can't believe we're already at that point in the season, Jake. But let's go ahead. Let's get into it. The noon games. Penn State at Ohio State. Ohio State
matchup of the year.
Hey, I've got Ohio State at 21.5 on my entry. Ohio State spread currently has actually gone down. 19.5 is where it now stands. I still have them covering that spread. Ohio State big in this one. Now the over-under is at 45.5. If it hits, it'll be Ohio State 48, Penn State 0.
Yeah, I mean, I probably do like the under. I don't think Penn State's going to put up probably any points, and I don't think Ohio State's going to. Ohio State's not an offense that goes out there with the objective to score 40-plus points.
Indiana is, but not Ohio State.
Not Ohio State. They go out there to try to control game. They kind of play the Sarkisian style.
Again, that's not to say for any Buckeye fans that happens to be watching this podcast at 33 minutes and 45 seconds. Not to say that Ohio State is not capable of putting 40 points on the board. They don't need to win games, and they haven't been doing so.
And they don't really – I mean, they have – outside of Grambling, they have one game where they've put up more than 40, and that was Minnesota, 42-3. Minnesota's dreadful. They scored 34 against Wisconsin. They scored 34 against Illinois. They scored 24 against Washington, 37 against Ohio, 14 against Texas. They've pretty consistently been in that 20 to, mid-20s to low 30s. And I think that's where they'll be this game. I think this is like a 31-3 type game. Maybe Penn State avoids the shutout. I could see it being 31-0. I think Penn State, any points they get will either be very early in the game where they get like a random drive or at the end of the game in garbage time.
Agreed. That's how I feel about this game. Had to mention it. It was a marquee game going into the season. It is no longer a marquee game by any stretch
Never
of
would have
the
thought Ohio
imagination.
State was going to be favored by 19 and a half points.
Not against Penn State. Not against Penn State. Not by any means. All right, Jake. This one's a little interesting. I know a lot of people will kind of have this game marked down just because it's not a super heavy week in terms of just big time games. Number 10, Miami at SMU. Miami, 10.5-point favorites, over under sitting at 50.5. I'm actually going to take the under in this game. I know SMU's offense is okay, but I think Miami's defense is still pretty solid. And I just don't know if Miami's offense is just going to, actually, Miami's offense is capable of putting a lot of points on SMU because SMU's defense is dreadful. But I don't know. I think that's a decent line. I just think Miami's defense is good enough to hold SMU's offense to not scoring a whole lot, which is going to put all the pressure on Miami to score those points. In terms of the 10.5-point spread, Jake, I think Miami wins this game by 17. I think they cover that spread. I'll go 38-21.
Yeah, I'm pretty much around your score. I'm gonna go 41-17 Miami. I don't think this will be a particularly competitive ball game. Really not like not a great slate of games this week.
No.
Am I okay to say that? I'd
Yeah.
say I think this is the weakest slate of the season so far. Which
I
is kind of
agree.
a shame that we're this deep in, but Georgia Florida is a game you always hope is going to be this big matchup. That obviously
South Carolina, Ole Miss, not as big of a matchup.
Texas Tech, K-State, that'd be one you'd be like, oh, that's gonna be a matchup to win. K-State's 500. Like, there's just a bunch of games where one of the teams. I mean, Oklahoma, Tennessee's probably. Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Cincinnati, Utah are probably the two biggest, most even matchups on paper. I guess outside of Texas, Vanderbilt as well. Of the week. So I guess it's a good week. Texas has a good 11 o'clock time slot this week for us.
Yeah.
There's not really any other games I want to watch at that time slot.
Yeah. Don't really have to flip back and forth or, keep your eye on other games unless you've got, a little bit of a wager on a couple of those games. Then, yeah, you might want to take a sneak peek over at them. But Georgia, Florida, Jake, we already kind of mentioned that. They're going to be playing at Everbank Stadium at Jacksonville. 73 degrees. It's going to be a beautiful day for a rivalry. This is a rivalry game. Things happen, but I feel like Georgia kind of dominates this series, to be honest. It's not one of those rivalries where I'm like, oh, any team can win at any given year. No, typically the better team that year wins this game, it feels like.
Yeah, and it's the lame version of the Texas OU. It's not in a cool stadium. It's not split the correct way. It's just kind of a lamer rivalry in general. And Georgia's won 7 out of the last 8. 2020 is the last time that Florida won this game. And it's really not been competitive the last 4 years. It's really not been competitive. Let's see. The last one-score game in this series was 2013.
Wow. What was the score to that one?
23-20, Georgia won. 2014, 38-20, Florida. 2015, 27-3, then Florida. 24-10, Florida. 42-7, Georgia. 36-17, Georgia. 24-7. Oh, wait, no, it was 2019. I missed that one. 24-17, Georgia. Still a long time.
Yeah.
And then 2020 was 44-28 Florida. Then the last 4 years, all Georgia, 34-7, 42-20, 43-20, 34-20. So you know what? I'm just going to keep that same kind of rhythm going we've had the last 3 years. I'm going to say Georgia wins this game 45-20.
I like it. 45-20. I'll ride with you on that one too. But yeah, I think Georgia covers this game. 7.5-point spread, over under set at 50.5. I think Georgia wins this game. I could see the under hitting, but then again, I could see the over hitting. Georgia's defense hasn't been Georgia defense-esque.
I like the over. I like the over in this game.
Yeah. All right, Jake. A game that was supposed to be a good game. South Carolina, Ole Miss. I think we both think Ole Miss is going to win this game, but Ole Miss 12.5-point favorites, over under set at 55.5. I think Ole Miss covers that spread. I think South Carolina gave Alabama everything they had, and it was still never really that much in doubt for Alabama.
I wouldn't say that. It took a miraculous fumble and then a last drive to take the lead. I would definitely say it was in doubt for Alabama, but for South Carolina, I don't think you're coming back from that. If you win that game, it's one thing. They end up losing that game, a game they kind of had wrapped up. I mean, they were winning that entire game until 34 seconds left. In the game, they were leading, pretty much from start to finish. Yeah, from the second quarter on, they were leading, and then Alabama scored with like 2 minutes left, and then South Carolina fumbled 2 plays into their drive that should have been trying to win it, and then Alabama goes down, scores, and wins with 30 seconds left. I think that
Yeah,
pretty much
that was when South Carolina let them score on the final drive to try to get the ball back with 30 seconds left. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So yeah, I think South Carolina's kind of broken after that. I imagine Ole Miss is finally gonna have their fans show up. Ole Miss is the weirdest place, man. They can have the loudest, most crazy environment, or they can just have no one show up. And so I imagine they're gonna show up this week after a big win on the road against Oklahoma. Probably a game they should have won by more. But yeah, I like Ole Miss in this game. I like them to cover.
Oklahoma at Tennessee. This is the night game. This is going to probably be one of the better matchups that we're going to get all weekend long. Tennessee 2.5-point favorites at home over Oklahoma. Over under set at 55.5. That one I could see kind of going either way. I don't love, the over under on any. I think that's a good number, to be honest with you. I think Tennessee wins this game. I've not seen anything impressive from Oklahoma since, they lost to Texas. Yeah, I just haven't seen anything that resembles any life in Oklahoma since that game. So I'm going to say Tennessee wins this one at home.
Man, I think Oklahoma wins. I just don't like this matchup. I think Tennessee's defense stinks regardless of who's against.
Yeah.
They just gave up, 34 to Kentucky, gave up 31 to Arkansas, 34 to Mississippi State, 24 to UAB, 41 to Georgia, 37 to Bama. Like, their defense consistently gives up points, kind of regardless of the competition. And then I feel like Oklahoma's defense is just going to be good enough to get stops. I know Tennessee's defense is really banged up too, has been all year, especially at the secondary. As much as I hate to pick it, I think Oklahoma wins this game. I have a gut feeling that they're going to win this game just matchup wise. When I look at how this matchup plays out, I just think it favors OU on paper.
All right, Jake, we got a pretty chilly game set up for Nebraska USC. Going to be about a high in the low 40s for Lincoln, Nebraska. USC coming into town. USC actually 4.5-point favorites, a over under at 59.5. I will take the I'll take the over in this game just because I think that's fun. And also I'll go Nebraska wins this game outright over USC.
I'm gonna go USC to win this. I don't think Nebraska is a good football team. They're 6-2 due to record more than anything. Their most impressive win is by far Cincinnati in that opening game, which was an ugly football game. That was a opener at a neutral field if I've ever seen one. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I like USC to win this game. But I like you said, I'll ride with the over as well. Too fun not to pick the overs in these USC games.
Yeah. And then big time night game. Game starts at 9:15 Central Time. Number 17 Cincinnati, number 24 Utah. I'm going to take, even though it's a night game at Utah, Utah's got some crazy fans. They've got a great home field. 10.5 point favorites over Utah. I'm going to get Cincinnati to at least cover that. I'm thinking Cincinnati money line. I think Cincinnati's going to win this game. What I'm going to bet is that Cincinnati covers.
Yeah, I'm not a big Utah believer. I don't really know why they're ranked, to be honest. I don't really get it. But it's at home, college game days there, by the way.
That's a long wait.
I'm gonna take Cincy in the points. I think Utah wins a close one, but I'm definitely gonna take Cincy with the points because I think there's a decent chance Cincinnati wins this game. I think 10.5 points is crazy in this game. So yeah, I'll take Cincy with the points. I think Utah edges out a win, but I'm gonna cover myself with if Cincinnati wins, I'll say, well, I won my bet.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. All right, Jake, that's going to do it for today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, we're going to have an immediate reaction following the Vanderbilt game, but we are also going to follow that up with another immediate reaction on Tuesday night for Texas versus Duke. So please tune in for that game. It's going to be a really fun time. 2 back-to-back immediate reactions. And yeah, we'll see you there. Please like, share, and subscribe. That's Jake Jimerson. I'm Tanner Carlson. As always, ladies and gentlemen, hook 'em.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.